I was fortunate enough that my family owned a property which was a hotel. It was not performing too well, so I got the chance to kind of play with it and kind of experiment and see what could work. And we really used a lot of the feedback from the first few people that were staying with us. Even till today, we're still listening. But in those initial days,
that's important. Listening is
it's critical, right? If you want to build a business, you want to solve a problem, you have to really listen to people. What is your problem?
Yeah.
And they kind of helped shape us, our space and our amenities, and the whole property was built to suit their needs.
Wow.
After they were staying with us.
Wow.
So when we started, we didn't have a kitchen, we didn't have a laundry room, we didn't have a gym, we didn't have a media lounge, we didn't have a co-working space. All the things that today we think are core components of our co-living space and which you kind of have to have.
I guess, to be honest, dude, I mean, it's very interesting is because our generation believes a lot in renting, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so you can see a lot of like people right now renting bikes. Like, that is why Bounce, delivery, Drive-Z, all these things are popping up because people are into, I mean, it's basically the same thing, you know. When you own a bike, you have a lot of expenses. When you rent it out, quite less expenses. And that's
bang on. It's about access. So that's what I always like to say. It's access is more important to our generation than ownership.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they had to say it was my bike.
My bike, yeah.
I'll it's a big day. The day I get my bike, I take care of it. It's like a relationship you're having with this inanimate object.
Yeah.
But today we're saying my bike can be stuck in traffic. No, I'll call an Ola.
Yeah.
Like my goal is to get from here to there. What is the most cost-effective, convenient way to do it? I think we've started to look at it that way.
Wow.
And the same thing applies to co-living, co-working. You don't need to own your office or tie down your capital by as a youngster buying a house that's 1 BHK when maybe once you get married you may need a 3 BHK. So I think a lot of these factors play into the same things, like your car rental businesses. There's a couple of startups. One of them was working out of the hub. Startups like Rent Mojo.
Rent Mojo, yeah.
So
they rent out everything, right?
Renticle actually was working out of the hub for a really long time. Okay. They rent everything from your furniture. There's Furlenco also, right?
Furlenco, and even Pepperfry do.
No, I don't know if Pepperfry does, but I'm sure they will if they don't. Okay. It's just a logical extension. But yeah, we rent even for us at the hub, because we want to see how this process works. We rent laptops. We've rented a swing, we've rented beds, we've rented fridge, all of these kinds of things, because in a lot of cases it just makes more sense. And
people are ready to take it, you know, I mean, because they're ready to rent it.
Yeah. Wow. Even with a lot of these rental companies partner with a lot of co-working, co-living spaces. So if you want to open a new space, you can tie down a couple of 10-20 lakhs in furniture, or you can rent it on a monthly basis based on when you sell the seats. Yeah. So there are all these interesting ways that these new models that are emerging. Mental health is an important issue.
Damn important.
Especially if...
for our generation.
For our generation, when sometimes it becomes a taboo subject, and sometimes... I think it's important as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to be sensitive to these kind of topics and areas, because when you're managing 100 other people, or you have the ability to influence or affect a policy or decision that could affect so many people, it's important you're in touch with your own emotions if you can make space to understand theirs.
That's true. I mean, a lot of people in our generation, I mean, a lot of people suffer with depression in our generation, that's for sure. But these people, the craziest part is these people don't know what depression looks like. You know, like that was really crazy to me. I guess there was a study recently done, and I found majority of people who are into depression don't know they're into depression. Yeah. That was very shocking to me. And I was like, especially
in Asian communities, mental health is not really seen as an illness or as an issue that can be spoken about openly. It is. It's not encouraged. So how do we know if we're feeling depressed or if something's bothering us when we don't have role models who have opened up about it, successful and unsuccessful people who've spoken about their issues with this topic?
Yeah. And I guess in entrepreneurship community right now, a lot of people are coming out and telling that this thing is really true. Like this thing really happens. There is anxiety and stuff, but it comes down to how you manage it.
100%. Yeah.
In Bangalore, everyone is like, I want to open a company, I want to open a company, I want to open a company. And there is that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, okay, maybe it's good to some extent. Not like everyone out there is not ready to have that, like the mental strength or the physical strength to own a company.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so what's your thought on it?
So I agree with you. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. But I'm a little optimistic when I look at this, because as someone who has not only struggled with his own entrepreneurial journey, but has been exposed to and seen firsthand running a co-working and co-living space, multiple other people who have pursued this path fail and a few people succeed. I look at it optimistically. If you succeed, you find what you were meant to do, and you become an entrepreneur, and you provide livelihood to other people, you employ people, you make an impact, all of that, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
If you fail, if you're optimistically looking at it, you've learned that was not for you. So you've ruled it out, and now you can go on to doing whatever you want to do. But you never have that in the back of your head that I should have tried this, or I could have done that, because that's regret, and there's nothing worse than that at the end of the day. Right?
Regret is poison, man.
So either way, it's a learning opportunity, or you find success. I think I wouldn't criticize people for chasing it, even though it's not for everyone. Just Instagram has 1 or 2 billion people using it actively. So when has an entrepreneur ever had a platform like that to kind of, whatever your business is or your story is, to get that word out instantly? But then the downside to that is the amount of noise that's there, right? So these streams are flooded with everyone trying to say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing.
Now it's not kind of saturated.
Yeah. So
but I guess that's what you have to be smart now, being more louder.
You have to be creative. Yeah. That's what I tell my team every day. What is our story? What are we trying to tell people? We are not providing a desk or a bed. That's sales. If you want to market and build a brand, you really have to go down to the essence. What is it that you're trying to do? For us at the Hub, it's a community. So we're trying to build an offline community. We're trying to be a place where people can come together. We're inclusive. All different kinds of people meet, socialize, network. So that's what, as long as we're clear on what we're trying to do, it becomes very easy to then tell our story and market. And I think for everybody, day one, we didn't know that. It took us 3 years to be so confident for me to be sitting here and saying, I can describe my company in one word: community.
Okay.
So for everyone, it's a journey, and you listen and you learn, and you'll think it's this, but then it'll end up being that. And then one day you'll be like, okay, now I'm sure this is what we're trying to say. I almost did like 10 or 12 internships between high school and college. And I think the biggest learning from that was I learned 10 to 12 things that I didn't want to do. Wow. Because I did everything from a bank to a hotel to a financial technology VC, educational startup. And it was like ruling out, okay, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do. Some parts of this I find interesting, but maybe this is not what I want to do. And then finally, I think just by process of elimination, I ended up at what I think I found interesting. And
wow. And it's very rare, someone who uses process of elimination to find something what they do.
That's what happened. I mean, it would be convenient if I just found it one day, I woke up and I knew I would have saved a couple of years, but that's how it happened for me. So
I guess, it's very important, like people in the young age have to discover a lot of things.
Yeah.
That is how they get to know what they are truly.
Yeah, making multiple small mistakes rapidly and just improving is the best way for even in our business. That's what we do. So just having a culture where personally for yourself and for your employees and your company, where failure is a normal part, it's accepted, it's something that's not frowned down upon. I think it's so important.
It's very important to have that kind of atmosphere in Indian society particularly, because where failure is seen as a great sin,
Yeah. I don't know where I read this, but I really believe in it, and I try and tell a lot of my the people that I work with to kind of apply this. I think I heard the CEO of like a Fortune 500 company or something say it, and I thought it made so much sense. He said, if I can make 3 good decisions every day, then I've done my job. So because making a decision kind of is like draining. As human beings, when we have to choose between 2 or multiple things, there's a toll it takes on you, an emotional toll, a mental toll to choose. whether that's anxiety or otherwise. So just kind of realizing what are the key decisions you have to make, which are important for you and to shape your business, and delegating the rest.
Wow.
Because even if they're small decisions, if you have to wake up and you have to choose, like just for the sake of it, an example, you have to choose what color shirt do I wear, what color pant do I wear. Just making 100 decisions. By the time you get to your 100th decision, which is probably the most important one, you're exhausted mentally because you've chosen so many times, and then you need to be fresh and focused for that decision. So might as well keep.
And I guess that is why Mark Zuckerberg wears the same outfit.
That's literally why he does it. That's one of the examples. Yeah. Because he says one less thing to worry about, one less thing to choose. Yeah, so I try to travel as much as I can, because not only does it help me recharge and just disconnect, which is so important from time to time, so that you're fresh when you're working, but it also just stopping the day-to-day, like the grind of checking things off your to-do list, and just like relaxing opens up a new part of your brain, where you can actually look at new things and new experiences. And that could actually both benefit you in your personal life and inspire new ideas at work. So I try to travel about once or twice in a month somewhere within India, if I get the chance, like to meet family or just a small short trip or something. And then maybe one or two times in a year, if I can get, my sister's studying in LA. I used to study there. So I still have a few friends there. So I try to go to the US or London or something like that, just to kind of take a break, and I try to justify it by saying I'm working and looking for opportunities, and try to combine it, meeting friends, family, and just relaxing, disconnecting. I think more than a time, for me, as an entrepreneur that's trying to do so many things and is on some level always stressed and anxious about what's next, or is this the best I can do this, and just those kind of questions, obsessing over it. And I think from time to time, the same things that make me a good entrepreneur lead me to maybe a slightly darker place, where I'm like, this isn't good enough, or I'm not doing enough here.
I can relate to that.
And I think it may not be just necessarily one phase, but I think it's a recurring thing where every few weeks or every few months, when things don't go as planned, and maybe you're in the up and down cycle, and you're in the down part of it, you begin to question yourself. Is this what I should be doing? Am I the right person for the job? The responsibility of having so many people who depend on you. All of these things will eventually play thoughts in your mind.
That is, to be honest, like the most common point every entrepreneur has. See, for example, so when I started this show, first episode, okay, I reached out to 15 videographers and photographers, and I was like, they were ready to come. I mean, a lot of people gave hand, so I reached out to 15. So I was already booked, so one guy was coming in. But then at the end, like I had 2 hours, it was 2 hours before, the guy called me and is like, I'm calling him, he's not picking up the call. So right now I have the guest coming in another 10 minutes at the studio, and I am stuck here figuring out how to get this guy. And I'm start questioning, okay, what should I do now? Like, should I just be like, it's not available, and send the guest away? But figuring that, I guess that negativity actually allows you to find solutions.
Exactly. It's at those points that your journey as an entrepreneur is defined. Because it's the easiest thing to do in that situation is to say, fuck it, I'm done. Like, just cancel the appointment. But if you have the tenacity and the problem solving ability to say, okay, what do I do with what best I have right now, and how do I just do something with this opportunity and use it as a stepping stone to the next one? That's what will define your success.
Yeah, that's really true. Because if I take my example again, if I would have been like, let's send the guest away, to be honest, this whole thing would have been not happening. Like, this would have been postponed, to be honest. This would have been postponed. I'm very grateful for that movement to happen,
and that's the flip side of overcoming those downers, because on the other side of that is the highest high you're going to experience, right? It's
sometimes
your moment of joy.
Sometimes you experience certain anxiety, you feel like you're going to conquer this world, and someday you feel like, holy shit, like what am I doing? Do you
Yeah,
feel that?
and there's nothing wrong with that because that's how we're wired as human beings. That's what emotions are, and that's reality, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a straight path. It's not a straight trajectory. There's small successes and tons of little failures, some big failures, and entrepreneurship is it's just overcoming that and like constantly telling yourself, okay, that's what's done is done. What's next?
Yeah.
So as long as you're looking ahead and learning from your mistakes, I think that's
Learning from mistakes is damn important.
Yeah. This is something I was reading about recently and I was trying to implement in my own life. Try and figure out what you as a brand or you as an individual, what your story is in one word. If you can do that, then it becomes easier for other people to understand you and for you to spread your message.
Wow.
So just simplify and really kind of bring it into an essence in one word. What is your brand about or what are you trying to do?
Wow. So like, what's your word? What's your one word?
My word is community.
Community. Wow.
And within community, it's like inclusive. So that's what we're trying to focus on, building an inclusive community. And
so it's not where it's no collab. There is more collaboration, not competition. Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it can be applied across all our businesses. Like the hub is an obvious example where everyone's coming together. But I think it can be applied to other businesses where you may not initially think it's applicable. Like with like one of our businesses, Safina Motors. It's about bikes and essentially we're a bike dealer, right?
Yeah.
But if you approach it differently, you can build a community of bikers that are passionate about this iconic old legacy brand.
Yeah.
And you can do things like have Sunday breakfast bike rides, and you can really like grow and nurture that brand through an approach of being an inclusive community where everyone who's interested in this can come together, learn, teach, grow together.